talks a nice talk. But he's here primarily to destroy the Aboriginal people, the Aboriginal children.
Tonight, the federal court case into the human rights ruling on underfunding Indigenous children wraps up in Ottawa.
This is our first widespread outbreak, and it has outstripped anything we have seen before.
Just when the rest of the country starts to see the light at the end of the tunnel, the Yukon is hit with a record number of COVID cases.
I play about 12 different characters, and the story is essentially about a very anxious boy's journey back into finding internal strength.
And a playwright takes this one-man show on the road. Good evening. Welcome to APTN National News. I'm Melissa Ridgen. It's been a few days since Bill C-15 passed through the Senate. It promises to make sure that laws of Canada are in line with the principles of the UN Declaration on the Rights of Indigenous People. In a matter of days, it will become law, and discussions on how to implement it will begin. Today, elders, federal ministers, and Indigenous leaders held a virtual press conference where the leaders from the three major Indigenous groups sang the praises of C-15.
For protecting and realizing the inherent rights and treaty rights of First Nations. This bill is a powerful tool for building a better relationship with Canada, in which those rights, our rights, must be respected and upheld and implemented.
It's another tool that we now can use to leverage and address long-standing human rights violations, including in the areas of housing, education, healthcare, language, and justice systems.
We as Indigenous people are going to win with this strongly. Industry, investors are going to win with this because now they'll have more confidence when they're investing in natural resources in our territories. And again, Canadians are going to win because at the end of the day, we'll find ability as government to government and nation to nation to sit down at a table equally.
Still in Ottawa, the federal government this morning finished its 5-day court fight to narrow Jordan's principle and cancel compensation for First Nations kids and families. The Canadian Human Rights Tribunal ruled that Ottawa must compensate victims of the underfunded child welfare system in 2019, while a year later, the panel ordered Canada to broaden Jordan's principle to some non-status kids. Today, Justice Paul Favell reserved his decisions for a later date. Justice Department lawyer Robert Frater argued against the tribunal's decisions in federal court all week, earning him a reprimand from the elder who closed the proceedings.
He talks about evidence. He talks a nice talk. But he's here primarily to destroy the Aboriginal people, the Aboriginal children. That's his mandate. It's a thing called, and I'll be honest, genocide. That's what it is.
Christian, a young man, was shot dead following a dispute over cigarettes while heading back to Siksika Nation from the town of Strathmore, Alberta, back in March 2019. The trial of the accused shooter, Brandon Giffin, wrapped up today. The verdict is not yet in. The shooting took place on the highway with one vehicle pursuing a young man's. Brandon Giffin's brother Cody was driving the pursuing vehicle and pleaded guilty to manslaughter. He was sentenced to 4 years in prison. Today, family, friends performed outside the courthouse in honor of a young man. A young man's mother, Melody, says she hopes the communities learn from this tragedy.
Let's be kind. Let's be humble. Let's be good to one another. Let's teach the world this is a good place and that we all belong. It's meant for all of us. I can't even see my grandchildren in the future from it. I was so looking forward to all of these things. But I can't have that. All to a stupid act of racism.
Our Calgary reporter Tamara Pimentel will have more on that next week. Well, the proposed Grassy Mountain coal mine project in southern Alberta has been rejected. The Federal and provincial joint review panels stated that the environmental impacts outweigh any economic benefits, citing significant adverse effect on water quality for fish and a loss of lands for traditional use by First Nations. For months, Indigenous and non-Indigenous communities near the proposed site have voiced their opposition. The Satie Water Protectors are a blood tribe-based group. They've been fighting this project since last year.
I was over the top. I was overwhelmed with a lot of different feelings, and mostly just a sigh of relief that this project would not be moving forth and desecrating the lands and water up in the headwaters of the Old Man there. So was very excited.
Leaders from the Heiltsuk Nation and the BC government signed a reconciliation agreement in a virtual ceremony streamed from the Big House in Bella Bella on BC's Central Coast. The agreement is called One Mind, One Thought. It includes over $22 million that will support the nation's infrastructure plans. They will focus on self-government, economic development, language, housing, and environmental stewardship. Heiltsuk Chiefs Marilyn Slett and Harvey Humshit signed the agreement on behalf of their nation.
This is a agreement that we're signing with British Columbia today that formalizes the investment into our community on the community priorities that we talked about earlier today, including an elders care facility, supporting language, supporting fishermen.
Now for another episode of Stories of Survival. APTN's Tina House talks with another survivor from the former Kamloops Indian Residential School, and he shares with us about the desperation that he endured while there.
Back in 1957, Stanley Paul Sr. was brought to the Kamloops Indian Residential School. He lives in Vancouver now, but wanted to come back to his former school to pay his respects. Always carrying his eagle staff everywhere he goes, he brought some tobacco from an elderly friend of his who wanted it laid at the memorial for the 215 children found buried on this property.
From his heart to here, for everybody.
Now 70 years old, the pain of what he went through is still raw.
But when you talk about something about the resident school, that hurts me on this side because I know where the pain is, and that hurts. Even at my age, I can still cry with the pain. It hurts me a lot because I lost a lot of good friends and cousins and friends from way back in the resident school.
He says everyone was constantly hungry because the food that was given to them was spoiled.
We had a big box, a big pot of mush, and you gave you mush, and you gave us some milk. And I'm going to tell you the truth, they gave us green milk and all that food, and you gave us bread, and very hard bread. And you're in there in school, you're hungry.
Stanley says he, along with a few older boys, would sneak out at night out of desperation and risk being caught by the security guard and his dog. But he says they had no choice.
We used to have a lot of apples here a long time ago. Then when we came here down here at nighttime, and we were hungry, and we didn't have no lights. What we do at nighttime, how hungry he was, we would go down there and steal some apples just to give it to my little brother and my cousins.
What was your life like before coming here?
I was happy. My granny and grandpa. I learned a lot of language from my granny and grandpa a long time, and I learned. When I go to school, I learned from my grandpa. I went and they took my language. They spoiled it me. That is the truth. I'm stuck. Because I know when they changed that part, it broke it on me.
For Stanley, he, along with thousands of others who were forced to attend these houses of horror, the physical, mental, and sexual abuse they endured has left deep imprints of trauma that has never really healed, despite the years that have gone by.
Were you surprised when you heard the news about the discovery here?
I knew this long time. I knew this long. I know that's way back. I know what it is.
Did you think you had maybe some friends that were part of the ones that were found?
Yeah, right over here. By the school over here, there's a couple of girls over here. I know, and I knew them. My nieces, my cousins died over here. And that's where you used to have them apples right over here a long time ago. I remember that.
Tina House, APTN National News, to Kamloops.
Well, thanks for sharing that, Stanley. We need to take a break, but still ahead, while COVID numbers are dwindling in much of the country, there's an outbreak in the Yukon. We'll tell you all about that when we come back. Welcome back. For months, the Yukon has been leading Canada with its low COVID-19 case counts and high vaccination rates, but now it's grappling with a COVID outbreak. Sarah Connors has those details.
For months, the Yukon has reported little to no COVID cases, but last week, things took a turn.
This is our first widespread outbreak, and it has outstripped anything we have seen before.
There are now 54 active cases in the territory, the highest number ever reported. One person has died.
Just at the point we thought there was an end in sight and we were ready for further relaxations, this hit us.
Most cases are linked to a graduating class at Porter Creek Secondary School in Whitehorse and young adults socializing. The majority of cases are in Whitehorse. 7 are in the communities, including 2 here in Carcross. Out of precaution, Carcross-Tagish First Nation is closed with essential services only. Chief Linda Dixon says people have concerns.
I think everybody's a little bit scared and a little bit confused, and knowing that it's in Carcross.
She says there's particular concern with elders, some of whom aren't vaccinated.
We don't know the exact numbers right at the moment, but they were a little on the low side.
Out of the 49 cases, 33 are unvaccinated, 2 people are fully vaccinated, and 3 are partially vaccinated. Many of the unvaccinated are high schoolers who have just been given access to the Pfizer vaccine this month. Mathia Alatini is the COVID coordinator for Yukon First Nations. She says young people are concerned, and high school students attending grad activities at Porter Creek are isolating at home and monitoring for symptoms.
Many youth that I know that either attended the Porter Creek Secondary are taking this very seriously.
Yukon's youth vaccine uptake hasn't been made public, but Alatini says youth need to get vaccinated to stop the spread.
We want youth to have full, healthy lives, to continue to do athletics, to do all those things.
Meanwhile, Yukon's Chief Medical Officer of Health says there's no need for panic. That's because 72% of the eligible population is fully vaccinated.
We know that this outbreak, although affecting many, will eventually peak and end.
He says the focus now is on shutting down the outbreak, not enforcing lockdowns or travel restrictions.
That doesn't mean we have to shut down society. It doesn't mean that we shut down businesses, because that's not where we're seeing risk.
Dr. Hanley says Yukoners will get through this outbreak together as part of the new normal.
This is part of our rocky road transition to an endemic state of living with COVID.
Sarah Connors, APTN National News, Whitehorse.
Nunavut has begun vaccinating teenagers, and to start, they held a mass vaccination event in Iqaluit. Our Kent Driscoll was there to see how it works, along with his son Joseph, who got his first dose.
Nunavut teens are now eligible for the Pfizer vaccine, and the kickoff was this event in Iqaluit, a mass vaccination clinic run by Nunavut Tungavik, NTI, the Territorial Land Claims Organization. The government has also removed the need for the 2-week quarantine upon returning to Nunavut for people with 2 doses of an approved vaccine. That's why Joseph is here. He's ready to travel.
My family, all of us would be able to go travel around the world again. That was our plan.
On the surface, NTI seems to be a strange fit for distributing vaccine. They don't employ any nurses. Most of the jobs in a clinic like this are paperwork. And they know paperwork. NTI handles everything but the needle. That's NTI President Luki Kutrik wiping down those clipboards. She wants to get that vaccine in Inuit arms.
And I think we've tried a number of things, including this. I know a number of NTI staff over the last 2 days went specifically to Inuit households to encourage people to get their vaccinations.
It's working too. 649 doses were administered here in Iqaluit in the first 2 days.
We thought it was important to try and focus on making sure Inuit get vaccinated.
And after a 20-minute wait and numerous forms and questions, Joseph's ready for his vaccine. For doing it, he also gets a $25 gift certificate. Now, Nunavut has Canada's youngest population, so Nunavut's success against COVID-19 may just depend on how many youth can be convinced to get that needle. Kent Driscoll, APTN National News, Iqaluit.
How you feel, Ilney?
Those needles, we've seen so many of them lately. Well, it's time for another break, but when we come back, we'll tell you about a new documentary about Lake Winnipeg. Stay with us. Welcome back. It's time now for our photo of the day. As seen from a drone's eye view, this is Oiseau Rock, a sacred location along the Ottawa River across from Chalk River, Ontario. Thanks to Matt LeMay for that great photo. For the chance to be our next photo of the day, you can send your photos to share@aptn.ca and then tune in each evening to see if you are our next photo of the day. Let's take a look now at tomorrow's weather forecast.
We've got sunshine and 22 for St. John's, 25 for Charlottetown and Halifax, sunny skies there. Kuujjuaq, sunshine, 14 degrees, some showers expected in Nain, high of 10. Satie, 17 and some showers expected, 26 in cloud for Montreal. Showers and 23 for Ottawa. Sault Ste. Marie, showers, 24 degrees, same with North Bay. Cloud continues up north, 27 for Kapuskasing and Timmins and Sudbury. Sunshine and 19 for Thompson, 17 and sunny for Puckatawagan. Winnipeg, 21 with a chance of showers, same with Dauphin. 24 and sunny for Swift Current, 23 and sunshine expected for Regina. Buffalo Narrows, showers expected, 20 degrees, sunshine and 20 for Stony Rapids. Sunshine for Fort Chip and 20 degrees. Fort McMurray is some showers and 20. 26 and sunny for Medicine Hat and Lethbridge, 22 and sunshine for Edmonton. Vancouver, 22 and sunny, 30 for Kamloops and Penticton. Sun continues there too. 14 and showers for Prince Rupert, showers and 19 for Prince George. Whitehorse, mix of sun and cloud and 21 degrees expected. Old Crow, 27 and cloud. Wati, 20 degrees and sunny skies, 23 and sunny for Trout Lake. 27 and sunshine for Fort McPherson. Palatec, cloud, chance of showers, 2 degrees. Baker Lake, showers and 6 degrees. Nuyat, 3 with some showers expected there. Kenite, chance of flurries, 1 degree. Igloolik, 1, but a mix of sun and cloud there.
An Anishinaabe-written one-person play will be live-streamed for 14 schools across Alberta this Monday on Indigenous Peoples Day. APTN's Chris Stewart brings us a peek at the show.
A stream of water, too powerful for his own legs, but the boy kept trying.
Anishinaabe playwright and actor Josh Longdo has been touring across Canada with his one-person show, Rocco and Nakota, Tales from the Land, for 2 years.
So it's my solo show. I play about 12 different characters, and the story is essentially about a very anxious boy's journey back into finding internal strength.
A young boy, Nakota, who is sick in the hospital, wants to write the greatest story ever. His grandfather, Rocco, regales him with tales of today and forgotten stories from the past.
My father, the great leader, will ask you for a gift of your choosing, but ask for this and this alone. Ask for the oldest.
Longdo says a one-person show is much different to perform than with a full cast, but is very rewarding.
When you're doing a solo show, you're basically playing the whole ensemble, and specifically in this show, and this is kind of rare from other solo shows I've seen where it's usually one person direct address to the audience, but I have Rocco and Nakota dialoguing back and forth, so I have to switch between them quite quickly, and that's in itself a really, really big challenge.
On Monday, he will perform the play and have it live streamed into 14 schools across Alberta, reaching over 3,000 students. EPCOR and 1,000 Faces Festival helped make it a reality. The play will be live streamed on the Thousand Faces Festival Facebook page at 1 and 7 p.m. Viewers are asked to donate to the Inspire charity that helps the education of Indigenous families across the country. Chris Stewart, APTN National News, Edmonton.
National Indigenous Peoples Day will see the world premiere of Anishinaabe Cree filmmaker Kevin Satie's project on Lake Winnipeg. I'm going to Lake of the Woods later. The 4-part documentary is produced by the National Film Board and will stream for free on June 21st. The film will also premiere at the Winnipeg Art Gallery on Monday. For more on the documentary, we're joined by Kevin Satie himself. Kevin, thanks for joining us. Can you tell us a bit about this 4-part documentary, the Lake Winnipeg project?
Yeah, it's a documentary series that's produced by the National Film Board of Canada. It's a 4-part series, and the documentaries are like 10 to 15 minutes each. And so we filmed in Matheson Island, Fisher River, Poplar River, and Camp Morningstar. And we've been doing it for 4 years now, and it's finally coming to an end here, so excited.
That's a long time to wait for a baby, hey, 4 years. You must be excited that it's finally coming out. Why did you want to make this film? How did you decide which communities that you were going to focus on?
This is where, my family comes from. My grandparents all from around the lake, like Fisher River, Matheson Island, Dauphin River. And we went around the communities first, talking to people before we took the cameras out. And we just gauged the community based on how the conversations went, how interested the chief and councils were, and people invited us and they were really wanting us to do a documentary. Then that was something that we considered. But yeah, we had community meetings. We went to visit people. We spent like a week or so in each community, and so yeah, we it's just based on the people and if they wanted us to even be there, because some people, didn't really care too much, to have a documentary, so that was okay. Yeah.
There's going to be a worldwide world premiere at the Winnipeg Art Gallery on the National Film Board's website on National Indigenous Peoples Day. What are you hoping that people take away from the documentaries?
I hope people, there's a lot of messages in each documentary. So, I hope that people watch the documentaries and take those messages from the people within them. But I think, a big thing is the protection of the lake and, how we need to be more considerate of how we're treating that body of water. And also to listen to Indigenous people, to listen to the people in the communities. Research is good. The universities do a lot of great work, but we also need to listen to the people who are on the land, on the water. And, that's what these documentaries really focus on.
Well, I look forward to it. My 10-year-old and I will be watching this on Indigenous Peoples Day. Thanks so much for joining us, Kevin.
Yeah, thank you.
Be sure to check that out. Well, that is your news for this fine Friday. I'm Melissa Ridgen. Thanks for joining us. Have a great night.